and welcome to the Monaco Grand Prix preview. I'm so excited to take you through what to expect from Monaco Grand Prix 2023. Now, before we get into the Monaco Grand Prix, of course, we have to take a look back at what has happened so far. This season has been really exciting. We've had 5 absolutely amazing races, and it's just been packed full of action. So let's take it back to the very first race of the year. We had the Bahrain Grand Prix, and Verstappen took pole on the grid, and his teammate Sergio Perez came second, and Fernando Alonso starting strong to take the final spot on the podium. I think this was definitely a mark of Aston Martin showing us that, they're here to stay. They're here to fight for the championship, and Fernando Alonso, of course, being a former world champion, it's just so nice to see him back on the podium. Now, after the Bahrain Grand Prix, we had the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Now, this was the newest circuit on the calendar. This was the first time that Formula One was going to Saudi Arabia. So that was really exciting to see. And again, we had another Red Bull 1-2. This time around, it was Sergio Perez coming first and then Max coming second. So they made a little switch at the next race, but again, it was the same 3 people that we saw the first race. We saw them again on the podium. So it was Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen, and Fernando Alonso. Now, for the Australian Grand Prix, which was the 3rd race of the season, as you guys know, before, the Australian Grand Prix used to be the very first race of the season, but this changed after COVID, so now we have Bahrain. But we had Australia, and that was really exciting. Normally, you get that vibe with Daniel Ricciardo being an Australian, but he's no longer there. But there was an Australian on the grid. Oscar Piastri came in 8th. So that was really something for the Australian fans to really celebrate, but they still came out blazing. They were so excited. There was so much happening at the Australian Grand Prix, and it was just packed full of action. And this time around, we had a new person on the podium, and that was Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton got his first podium of the year, and he came in second. So Max came first, Lewis Hamilton second, and Alonso, still not moving from that 3rd spot on the podium, came in 3rd. And then we had another street race. That was the Azerbaijan. And Sergio Perez really needed to remind everyone that he's still the king of the street races. So he came in first, and then we had another Red Bull 1-2 of the year with Max Verstappen coming in second. And then we saw another new driver on the podium, and that was Charles Leclerc. I think a lot of Ferrari fans thought this time around that we're going to see more from Ferrari. This was an exciting thing. Ferrari being on the podium, there was more to come, especially just because we've seen so many performance issues from them and strategy issues. So we thought, okay, this is now the time, seeing as they're back on the podium. Of course, that didn't happen, and we're still waiting for Ferrari back on the podium. But in the next race, we had the Miami Grand Prix. So many celebrities were on show for the Miami Grand Prix. It was so exciting. There was so much just happening. They were at the Miami Dolphins Stadium as well. And we saw Max Verstappen claim Red Bull's 5th win of the season at the Miami Grand Prix. And then he came from 9th on the grid. So that was really exciting. And that's just some of those qualities that you see of a world champion in Max Verstappen, just coming from 9th to win. And that just means Red Bull have managed to claim 4 1-2 finishes in the opening 5 rounds. So you can just tell that RB19 is so dominant, so strong. It's kind of hard to see where we're going to see a challenge from. And then, of course, unfortunately, we weren't able to have the Emiliano Grand Prix. That was because of the unfortunate flooding that took place in that region. They experienced 6 months of rain in one day. So, our hearts go out to all those that were suffering. There's been donations, outpouring of love. So that was really sad. So we weren't able to have that Grand Prix, which means we have our very first European race, and that is the Monaco Grand Prix. Yay! The most exciting, the most glamorous, this Monaco has been there since the 50s. So you just know that legacy, you know, that there's so much excitement when it comes to Monaco, the glitz, the glam, it's just everything. You see all the yachts and everything just packed. It's pretty much one of the best of the year. But of course, it's just a notoriously difficult track, how tight it is, how tight that circuit is. You know, you just know it's going to be an interesting one. So what are some of the things that we can look forward to at the Monaco Grand Prix? Well, there's some key topics, key points to really know, one of which I would say is the Charles Leclerc curse of Monaco. Now, anybody that knows Grand Prix and Formula One, what we know is that 9 of the current drivers are living in Monaco. So 9 of those drivers call Monaco home, but there's only one that can really call himself the Monaco hometown kid, and that is Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc was born and raised in Monaco. He is a true Monegasque. So this is his home race. While the others live there, yes, but for Charles Leclerc, this is his home race. Now we know Ferrari have really just not been the best. Of course, Charles Leclerc got a podium earlier in the year, but still Ferrari have had like a very underwhelming start to the new season. So this is an opportunity for Charles Leclerc to correct all the wrongs that have happened to him in Monaco. We know of what happened last year. That was very unfortunate. He had strategy issues. Ferrari just couldn't get it together for him to win. He's also had 2 times where he did not finish. There was gearbox issue in 2021. So that was also an unfortunate incident that happened. So Charles Leclerc has been waiting to win his home race. We've seen what that means for certain drivers. We've seen Lewis Hamilton win in Silverstone. We've seen Max Verstappen take the Dutch Grand Prix, but somehow Charles Leclerc has not managed. So can Ferrari get it together, have a perfect qualifying, perfect race, everything, Saturday, Sunday, all of that? I hate to say it, but it doesn't look likely. I think we're going to see another year of Charles Leclerc still waiting to win his home race. That's just one of the things to really look out for. Another thing to look out for the Monaco Grand Prix is the duel of the Red Bull racers. Now, RB19 has been doing it's the performance, nobody can seem to catch up with that Red Bull car. It is dominant. I mean, even Christian Horner came out to say he expected more people to challenge them. And it's like, it's kind of hard to challenge because that car is fast. It's fast on the straights, it's fast. It's just really fast. And another thing is they have one of the best drivers that can race on the streets in Sergio Perez. This is his forte, basically. So can we expect others to challenge? It doesn't look likely. It seems like the challenge is going to come from the 2 drivers, so Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Another thing that's really exciting is finally Verstappen has a teammate that's not afraid of him, especially what happened at the end of last season. You know, I think that really lit a fire for Sergio Perez. He's realizing like he needs to be tough to catch up with Max, and that's understandable. You're racing with a 2-time world champion. You have to be tough. You have to challenge him. You can't back down. And that's what we're seeing from Sergio Perez. Like, he is really taking the fight to Max. So I think this Monaco Grand Prix, we're going to see a fight between the 2 Red Bulls. And I have to say, I think Sergio Perez is going to actually get this one. So that would really be something exciting to look forward to. Another thing to look forward to is qualifying. Now, normally everyone just saves things for Sunday for the main race, but with Monaco, qualifying is key. We know that Monaco is a tight, twisty circuit with merciless walls and just a reluctance. Like, it's really hard to overtake. You know, it's pretty much impossible to move up through the pack in Monaco. You know, like, overtakes are just really scarce. So you have to maximize qualifying. You have to be up in the grid on Saturday by the time Sunday comes. Qualifying is so key. So that's something to look forward to, and we're really excited to see how the grid takes place and takes shape by Saturday. Another thing to look forward to is the Mercedes upgrades. So they were supposed to bring those upgrades at Imola, but of course what happened, they weren't able to do that. Now, Lewis Hamilton has spoken a lot about the car. He's really frustrated. There's so much that's supposed to happen that hasn't happened, so much expectation. They're just not anywhere close to Red Bull at this time. So what this means with the upgrades is we get a chance to see it for the first time if those upgrades make a difference. Will they make Lewis Hamilton happy? Will they make him get a new contract? Or are those rumors to Ferrari true? We don't know. But this is just, it's nice to see some of those upgrades coming into play. You know, can Mercedes do anything to really fight for the championship again? I mean, of course, they dominated for about 8 years, and Red Bull now is back and it's like, no. We are not letting you get away with that. So that's something that we can expect to see at Monaco. The last thing to look forward to for the Monaco Grand Prix is the chance to watch the race live at the Podium Lekki on Sunday from 12:30 p.m. This is an opportunity for you to really get to watch the game on a massive screen, to really speak to other Formula One fans and get that excitement of the Monaco Grand Prix. This event is brought to you by Bamboo, Heineken, and of course DStv. Follow DStv Nigeria to find out more about the event. See you on Sunday.